It's your boy Jose from Big Meat Sports. How are you guys doing on this lovely weekend? Lovely week, actually. Right after the Christmas break. Hope you guys are enjoyed your holidays. You enjoyed your Christmas. I'm telling you, I enjoyed mine so much. Just spending time with the family, seeing my daughter just open up all her gifts and just seeing families and friends. So I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. There were some great football games that we're going to talk about in this segment. But again, thank you for tuning in to Big Meat Sports Podcast. Again, we're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. We're on all major platforms. So look, thank you for tuning in. I do want to give a shout out to my boy Chris getting married this past weekend to his beautiful wife. I mean, that was just a last second thing that that came upon. I'm happy for him. Married to a beautiful wife, Dorian. So it's like when I mean it was amazing that one I was just honored to be invited to, and I know that he pays attention to this podcast, so shout out to him. And if you're watching live, yes, that's my daughter in the background. So, um, but so we are going to go talk about these games, and oh yeah. So, my Dallas Cowboys played this weekend, played on Christmas Eve, and they beat the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm not gonna lie, it was a good Christmas Eve. I am glad. I was just happy for the win. We're banged up in the secondary. You could see that transpired through the game, and yeah, the Eagles were moving the ball, but the difference is with this game, we got four turnovers. So, and it looked pretty promising. Even though that I don't believe the Eagles didn't attempt a punt that game because of the four turnovers. But it was an awesome game by Dak Prescott. Look, again, these turnovers are killing me. But he got the first turnover of out of the way with the first drive. Gave just basically we spared the Eagles 10 points right off the rip. But I love how he responded, and he did it in a way that leaders do. He put that interception in the pass and took accountability and went down and continued to test this Eagles defense. Now the Eagles were trying to stop the run, and when if it was a play action or they knew it was a pass, they were in zone, and Dak was chewing up that zone coverage from the Eagles like there was no tomorrow. And I love the way how even though the running game wasn't always there, we still stuck to it somewhat. Zeke and Pollard didn't have that big of a game, but you saw their impact. You saw that the play calling just to keep them off balance and on the defense. It went it did well. Like, and I can't say that Kellen Moore called a terrific game because he didn't. He does has his mistakes, but I will say that Kellen Moore called a decent game. Um, it was kind of scary. T.Y. Hilton helping us out with that 3rd and 30. Again, this T.Y. Hilton, I think this is a great acquisition for us because we're gonna see him spread the field. He's our deep threat. Now you can't send into those zone coverages, clogging up the middle, whatever the case may be. He shows you that he still has that breakaway speed that he can blow by you. Now, some of the Eagles fans and Darius Slay are mad. Hey, if we just do our job, this and that. But I think it was a good read by Dak because he saw that the safety or the nickel corner that was supposed to go into cover two was turned the wrong way, and he just launched it. And when I mean he threw it on a dot, he threw it on a dot. Now, my thing is, and Dak had terrific numbers. I think 27 to 35, 27 or 35, 347 yards and 3 TDs. Lamb, 10 receptions, 120 yards and 2 TDs. I mean, what can you ask for in a rivalry game? Dak went out there and put up the most points on the most yardage on his defense. I believe the most points on his defense in this season. And it's not there's not one of those defenses that are a cakewalk. No, they're I'll say a top 15 defense. They got some clout on the defensive line, on the corners and the back end. They got dogs over there, and Dak was just cutting them up left and right. And yeah, just again, with my concern is with going on Dallas' side is this secondary. They need to start Deron Bland. This guy, this rookie, I think I would say with these next 2 weeks, giving him more reps at the outside corner, opposite of Trayvon Diggs. You see how he is. He's a ball hawk. This guy gets the ball in his hands, he's gonna rip it away for you. He is there. He is there. I just think that more of the cohesionness with the defense, where everybody's gonna be at. I think it's gonna play out great for the Cowboys in the coming postseason. And again, if you're tuning in this live, you can chat with us. I'll chat back. And if you got any questions, go ahead and write it in the comments section. Hopefully, it pops up. We're in the restream live, so if you see this, but yeah, I'm just glad. And my whole thing is, and we're going back to of these analysis and writers and so on and so forth. They are talking so much about not giving us credit for this win, saying it's versus uh backup quarterback. Yet when it was versus when the Eagles did it, oh my God, Eagles number one. How they're doing so good. Man, they're the best team in the East and blah blah blah. And that's what a true team is supposed to be. Because they did it versus Cooper Rush. But when Dak does it versus Minshew, oh, they're supposed to do that. See, this is a thing that I don't get. It's literally, when you're America's team, they treat you different. And it's supposed to happen certain ways. And when I mean it bothers me because you see how people contradict themselves. Shady McCoy always contradicts himself. Joy Taylor always contradicts herself. And it's always they do it versus when they're talking about the Cowboys. Um, but you know what? It's in the past. I'm glad that we won the game. I think it would have been we would have won a game with Jalen Hurts in there. And you're saying, oh well, the interceptions, those passes by Minshew. Minshew was on fire. I'm not gonna lie, Minshew was on fire. Those passes that were intercepted, they were ripped away from his receivers. The fumbles, okay, you could say that one fumble exchange with Miles Sanders, but the other fumble was Miles Sanders getting blown up in the backfield. So you can't tell me that you can't give us some credit. You got to give us some credit. And these games are always going to be coming down to the wire because it's division opponents. We know each other. It's never going to be a blowout. Yes, we had blowouts in the past, but that's blowouts going towards the end of the game. These are very two good teams. I'm pretty sure if it lines up as a playoff exists right now, we are probably going to see them in the second round if we're able to win our first round game. Hopefully we can, because I can't do another first round exit. Oh my God. Um, but I just want to thank you. Look, hey, Dallas Cowboys, you went out there, you did what you're supposed to do, and look, you got over that Jacksonville Jaguars loss. Thank God, bro. I think that was it's kind of a trap game because you're looking ahead of towards the Eagles. I thought they were gonna right the ship because the Houston game, but Houston is actually playing really good ball. After taking us down to the wire, they took the Chiefs. Houston took the Chiefs into overtime, and they won their last game versus I believe the Titans. So and who Dallas plays on Thursday Night Football. So hopefully Dallas can continue this momentum into the playoffs. Now, a lot of people say, do you rest your starters? Man, I don't like the rest. I don't like the rest of the starters because then when it comes playoff time, you're trying to get them back into that game mode. You're trying to get them back to that, excitement. And I just don't like the rest. We've seen it in the past with Dallas Cowboys having that bye week, and then the next week, boom, home home field advantage doesn't really exist because bam, they're rusty. They come out slow, and the other team is just catching fire. So yeah, it's just for me. I don't like it. But let's talk about the Miami Dolphins over here. Miami Dolphins lost to the Packers. Now, it is a little bit panic time for the Dolphins. They lost 26-20 in this game, but the major concern is Tua. Now, Tua has another concussion, and I believe it's technically you want to say it's his third concussion of the year. I don't think he plays it again this year. Um, just due to the fact that so many concussions in 1 year. Now you're talking about this guy's livelihood. I don't think that Tua. It's very very hard for you as an organization to basically put your eggs on all in one basket on Tua next year when he's really basically injury prone, and it's not like it's concussion prone basically. Um, and it kind of sucks because we've seen this in the past with like Andrew Luck, Michael Vick, Tony Romo, and those three people that I just mentioned. They'd had injuries probably towards the middle of their career and towards the later career. Tua, his career is just starting, and he can't get over these concussions. Michael Vick was always ribs and something to do with the upper body. Andrew Luck just got killed because the Colts didn't know how to protect the man. And he just retired out of nowhere because he was just going through that psychological, the mental stuff capacity of getting injured, and that does take a toll. If you haven't torn anything, if you never did ACL rehab or meniscus rehab or any kind of type of rehab, you don't know what we're talking about. But if you have, you know that it does take a toll on the psyche of a player. Now, um, and Tony Romo, towards his later career, he started getting injured. It was just an injury after injury after injury. You could say the same thing with Dak. Dak always has an injury, but it's nothing, and knock on wood, but it's nothing to the effect of a concussion. So now it's becoming this guy's livelihood. This guy's just it, if he can, stay alive. It's just mind boggling that we're coming to this because it. When I talked about podcasts in the past about him protecting his own self and the offensive line, how you got to change your mindset. You can't change his mindset of trying to extend the play every single time. You can see it. I think the pass that he got the concussion was in the second quarter, and it was mind boggling because Miami put up 20 points on the Green Bay Packers in the first half, but they look like a completely different team in the second half. And you kind of saw that now you're wondering, damn, what's wrong with Tua? Like, what's going on? Like the play calling, people on you know, on the wrong calls. And now this comes up as this was possibly the play, and it was in the second quarter. And now we get it. Now I get it why he plays so poorly. And now my question for Dolphin fans is what's gonna happen next year? I mean, I think Teddy Two Gloves, Teddy Bridgewater, can get the job done and get them into the playoffs. I mean, they have the Patriots, which like to run the ball. They're really horrible at passing. Miami is good at stopping the run, and the Jets. The Jets, they don't have a quarterback, so I think that'll be a tight game. But I believe if the Dolphins at least win the next game, have the Jets lose, they're in the playoffs as the last seed. Um, and I mean, you never know what's going to happen in the playoffs, but I think without Tua, just Teddy Bridgewater, I think they're first round exit. But you never know. Um, as an organization, what happens now? What happens? Do you put your money on Tua? See, hey, look, that was just 1 year of concussions. Let's go with them, but have a viable backup. Who's the backup? Do you let Tua go? Let go Tua? Trade Tua? I mean, look, Jimmy Garoppolo's out there. Jimmy Garoppolo is used to the system. McDaniels came from San Francisco, so he's used to the system. So that's something that the Dolphins need to address this offseason. And it sucks because I'm a Tua fan. I like the guy, like his story, like his background, real good, genuine guy. Defies all odds, but it just sucks because the injuries have just reeled him back. So we're gonna see what the Dolphins do, but I do think Teddy Two Gloves, as JC, my co-host, says, Teddy Two Gloves can get it done. I mean, again, it's just Pats and Jets, two teams that really ain't that good. Yes, they're in the playoff hunt, but I'm not really sold on the Pats and Jets. So I think the Dolphins can get it done. But my question, and I'm going to put on the Instagram post, and all the major platforms are: do you think Tua's career is over, or do you think next year will be a different story? Do you think the Dolphins should take a chance on him next year? It sucks, man. It does suck. Tua was having a great year until all these the concussions, and then they went on a 4 game slide, but again the concussion just popped up again, and it sucks for this young man because again he is he is a likable person. There are a lot of Tua haters, but there are a lot of Tua fans out there. And I wish JC was on this podcast to give his point of view, but we will have him on here recently to see what's going on. So, but hey, look, that's it for me today. It's a little short podcast. I don't have any knucklehead play of the week. Just been busy with setting up my daughter's all her princess toys and castles and so on and so forth. So it's been busy. But I thank you guys. Thank you everybody that always tunes in. Adrian, Omar, everybody, my family. Thank you. Please, if you see this on YouTube, Facebook Live, whatever the case may be, please shout us out. Please listen. Please tell your friends about us, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Have a great New Year's Eve.